Chris Brien.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Sorry, I've got an allergy. I'm sort of croaky. Okay, rhythmic independence. What is rhythmic independence and why is it good for you? Okay, what rhythmic independence is, it's when a musician, in this case, I'm a multi-instrumentalist, I play many instruments, but today I'm playing the drum set, which I call the trap set, that's the original name of it. Now, rhythmic independence is when a human being can play many rhythms simultaneously. Now, the drum set, this particular drum set has 10 pedals, so it enables me to play many rhythms at the same time. Now, what is this? Why is it good for you? Well, there's been many scientific studies done in the last 10, 15 years of the mental and health benefits of playing the drum set. Science is now beginning to understand, but not touch that, is beginning to understand that the piano and the violin are not the strongest for developing IQ, EQ, and other intelligences. It's the drum set. And the reason being it's the steady beat. The drummer is the only musician who is not allowed to play out of time when the music has a steady beat. Now, most drummers will learn to play something like this, which is very good for the mind and the body, but I take it a lot further. A lot of these studies will claim that drumming does make you smarter. I disagree with that. It depends what you do on the drums. Playing any instrument will make you smarter. The recorder, the cello, anything. Now, some studies done in America, in Pennsylvania by Dr. Barry Bittman has proven many times for cancer patients, if they play shamanic rhythms like this, for about 30 minutes, they'll produce more cells in their bodies which will kill cancer cells. It won't cure cancer, but it certainly improves the recovery process. With the other area science is interested with drumming is the coordination. As I was saying, I've taken it a lot further where I use rhythmic independence, which creates far more connections in your brain than any other activity that science can seem to find. To do this, we need to use indigenous rhythms, and this is where a lot of drum teachers get it wrong. And you, as we say in teaching, can't give what you haven't got. I'm a big believer, as Socrates, Plato, Aristotle were, that to be a teacher, you must be extremely good at what you do. Again, because you can't give what you haven't got. So what I found over the years, I've been teaching now for about 33 years, a long time. And what I've noticed with children, and particularly teenagers and children, because obviously the brain doesn't fully develop till you're about 25 years old, that if they learn to play what we'd call an American drum set samba, this. If I turn my drums on, why are my drums turned off? Technical problem. Okay, is this up? Thank you. There we are. So an American drum set samba, which is using some rhythmic independence. The feet here are playing what we call a samba ostinato. An ostinato is a repetitive musical phrase. Ostinato comes from the word obstinate, which means stubborn. There can be a melody, it can be a rhythm, whatever. I hear everything on the drums as melodies. So this particular melody is, and the student must learn to first say a whole bunch of rhythms on top of that, and then they learn to read it. But first they do it by ear, so they get separation from the hands and the feet, and they end up with it's a fairly basic beat, and a Brazilian American drum set samba, because there's many versions of a samba. Should be, you got that, then this, and then they improvise with their left hand. Once a student can play that, I've taught 7-year-olds this. What happens is, with every single student, the grades go up, become more confident, less interested in video games and wasting time. They're happier. Look, some video games are good. Chess is great. Most is just time wasting. Unless you're programming it, that's different. They are more popular amongst their peers if they wish to be. There's just so many improvements in their life. Their IQ goes up, their EQ goes up, their intrapersonal intelligence improve, the whole thing. And science is still trying to work out what is going on in here when we do this. Unfortunately, the drum set has received a very bad rap over the years because of Hollywood movies and people's ignorance. But if you go and tell the Cubans or the Iraqis or the the Mozambicans that drums is a waste of time, they'll laugh at you. It's the oldest instruments in the world are the human voice, sticks, the flute, and the drum. Anyway, so I'll show you what happens. So once they learn that, they learn variations of the samba. As they develop more, so does their results in life. We then go to a rhythm called a songo, which is Afro-Cuban, which is this. And it has 3 ostinatos. One is we call a tumbao. I use words to explain rhythm to children. Good morning, good morning. It's that. On the left foot, I'll just do the sound. It's called a 2-3 son clave. Together. Then I'll play what we call a cascara on top. A cascara, again, I use words to say this rhythm. The rhythm is, but rather than saying to a student it starts with 2 quavers, followed by a semi-quaver, followed by a quaver, give me a break. I say that Frank Sinatra is a nasty singer, that Frank Sinatra is... Now, in all respect, I mean nasty as in really, really cool. He was a very good jazz singer. And I want you to try and say that. So again, if I wrote it out, the readers would be going like, you know, it's going to take too long. So just try and say this for me. Say that Frank Sinatra's a nasty singer. Give it to me. That Frank Sinatra's a nasty singer. That Frank Sinatra's a nasty singer. That Frank... There you go, and you can just... Okay, so I've got the 2-3 son clave, the tumbao, the Frank Sinatra, the cascara, which I turn around, and I get this. And then I do the cascara again, Frank Sinatra, an inversion of that, and I get... And when a student can learn that, hey presto, things improve. Then we take it even further, just check I'm up and working. Which number am I? That's good. Then I'll teach them an African 6. Which African country it comes from, I don't know. I love these guys say I teach African drumming. It's ridiculous. It's like saying you teach Asian drumming. So I don't know. But anyway, it's called an African 6. I think of it as an Afro-Cuban rhythm, which it goes back to Africa anyway, somewhere. So African 6 uses a 6-pedal ostinato, which takes practice. So hence no time for girlfriends, video games, wasting time. Or boyfriends, depending, you know. They are. No, in saying that, most of the best drummers I've taught have the same thing in common. Female, not male. Anyway, so we get... So they learn that. And that's a very nice thing about the play. Excuse me, I have some liquid. So that's an African 6. Now, the more we add to what we're doing with our limbs, the more musical phrases we play, the smarter the person is going to become. And in saying this, everyone talks about creativity. For me, creativity is very simply explained. When everyone's thinking alike, somebody isn't thinking. We're all born unique. Act that way. Yes, we've got to go through a school and follow certain guidelines and whatever. But yeah, when everyone's thinking alike, somebody isn't thinking. It's a very simple concept. I'm a self-taught musician, not because I chose to do that. I did that out of necessity because there were no decent drum teachers available in the time. There was one, and he left. He had to go to university. So I'm self-taught, and yes, I grew up practicing on average 8 to 12 hours a day because I loved it. And in talking about practicing so much, that whether you're getting good at drums or you're getting good at marketing or getting good at making robots or whatever you do, there's one rule you cannot escape. Michael Jordan didn't escape it. Mozart didn't escape it. Socrates didn't escape it. You have to practice for a minimum of 10,000 hours. If you don't do it, you'll be okay. The difference between a virtuoso musician and a good musician who's okay is about 9,000 hours training. It's 10,000 hours, 3 hours every day for about 10 years, which isn't that long. Now, there are many children in this world and adults who will spend 5 or 6 hours a day playing video games, just wasting their time. So I don't want to know what happens after 10 years of doing that. I want to keep out of that. So I've done, I think, approximately about 75,000 hours practice, and I've loved every minute of it. And it's, I think this way, I hate studying, but learning is beautiful. So doing something that you love to do. You know, that's what hard work is. So what I want to do now is just sort of take some of these sort of silly concepts I've got and I'll go with this guy. That sounds nice. I'm just going to play a bit of guitar, then I'll do something else. Give you an idea of being creative. A lot of bass players don't like this, by the way, because then well, I don't need them. Where's my... whoa, there we go. Yes. And if you get into the bass, I play a bit of guitar, I play more bass. Everyone seems to be fixated on the guitar, but actually if you play the guitar and you pick up a bass, it's like the guitar's like a cheetah, and this is the elephant. This is just massive. This is the loud one. Anyway, so I'm going to go a bit, rather than doing these rhythms which are thousands of years old, which I will come back to, let's go a bit more modern. I might do a bit of very simple music, but it's fun. I might do a bit of Katy Perry and some other songs. Why not? Woohoo! Woohoo! No hands! Old school, slow it down. Old school. A hip, hop. Yeah, there we go. 2, 3, woo! Oh, a bit of Michael Jackson. Thank you. Now, in a second. Not quite yet, not yet. Now I'm going to play some, what I call a soundscape. Not a landscape, a soundscape. So I'll play some pretty crazy patterns with my feet, not for the sake of being clever, just what I need to do to produce these sounds, including mosquitoes. And I'll first do something some musical concepts which come from somewhere in Africa. Again, we need time machines to find out where. But you please play the first slide, please, Maestro. Thank you. This is in 13, which is very nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't know. Okay. And everyone's favorite, dinosaurs. Thank you. Thank you. So in closing, when everyone's thinking alike, somebody isn't thinking. I just want you to say this for me. I want you to do, I want you to say, when everyone's thinking alike, somebody isn't thinking. When everyone's thinking alike, somebody isn't, I can't hear you. When everyone's thinking alike, somebody isn't thinking. When everyone's thinking alike, somebody isn't thinking. When everyone's thinking alike, somebody isn't thinking. Somebody isn't thinking. Thank you. Bye-bye.